What's up, Albany? I'm Alicia Purdy. I'm running for mayor in the city of Albany, and the election is just a few days away. Hey, if you're going to do early voting, get to the polls. There's almost no line down at the Board of Elections. Check their website. They have really weird hours. I am on for a really specific reason today. I don't typically do a lot of lives, but I really thought I had to today. And I'm just going to take a minute while people are popping on to join. I need to show you something that went out across the city of Albany today that I think is important to discuss. So we get a lot of mailers. Have you seen this mailer? This is what went out today, and I'm here to be transparent, and I'm going to answer some really honest questions because these matter. These mailers are addressing something that are very upsetting to people in the city of Albany, and I need to be transparent and share with you the truth. So here's the mailer that went out today in the city of Albany. I have the address covered because it didn't come to me. Do you see this? Do you see this picture? That's Donald Trump. See that? Let's take a look at the other side of this mailer, shall we? Oh my goodness. It's a picture of Alicia Purdy for mayor. What is she doing on a mailer with Donald Trump in the picture? Well, I can tell you I didn't send it out, first of all. The second thing I'm going to tell you is this. I'm going to address this point by point, and it matters that I do. Because there are some very specific accusations, and I don't address every piece of hate mail. By the way, Kathy, know your audience. Hello. Why did this come to my house? Second of all, I get mailers from everybody. I got one from Valerie, got one from Greg. We're all doing it to each other. The reason why I'm taking a minute to address this is because it was hate mail. And it was hate toward you, not toward me. When you're a candidate, one of the things you have to understand about being a candidate, it doesn't matter if you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you're truthful. It doesn't. If there's nothing to be found on you, they will make something up. First of all, let's take this piece by piece. If you didn't get one, just know it has Donald Trump on the back, which is a very deliberate subliminal message to align me with a president that I've never stood publicly and said that I support. And by the way, I've never stood and said publicly I don't support because it has nothing to do with running for mayor of Albany. But here's the line. Alicia won't say who she voted for in the 2020 presidential election. You know what? You also don't get the name of my primary care doctor. So there you go. But she has plenty to say about issues important to all of us. Now, these issues are important, and I'm going to bring them up. The first thing I want to point out is this. This picture that you see here, standing here in front of the Pride colors, standing with Cafe Hollywood, I proudly stood with Cafe Hollywood when Kathy Sheehan shut them down. And I want you to know that. I have no shame in that, and I stand behind that decision to this day, even though she sent out a mailer to try and slam me for it. I did not stand with Cafe Hollywood on moral grounds. I stood with Cafe Hollywood because of the gross overreach of Kathy Sheehan to sit here and bomb the people of Albany and fake solve crimes and imply that black people are the source of crime in Albany when there was 4 shootings the same week that she shut it down. That's why I stood. Albany, New York must have a mayor who abides by the laws in this city and does not abuse her power. So there you go. Boom. Cafe Hollywood. I did it. I'll do it again. So let's take a look at the rest. Of her opinion on Albany, quote, an economic shanty town of crime and crack. You know what they didn't tell you about that quote? I did say it. I said it in my campaign speech when I launched this mayoral campaign. And this is literally the reason why I launched it. Look what Kathy Sheehan has done to crap all over our city. Yes, now I'm going to get aggressive and I'm going to be completely transparent and real with you. I stood and called Albany a shanty town of crime and crack. But what they did not add in here was that I said, it's because of you, Kathy Sheehan. It's because of your garbage, performative, phony leadership, non-leadership, and your political fear-mongering and your agenda. That's why I called it that. Is Albany actually that? No, of course not. That's why I'm running for mayor. I love this city. I'm trying to be part of what I want to see in transformation. So yeah, I'll own that one. I did call Albany an economic shanty town of crime and crack. And as long as Kathy Sheehan's the mayor, that's what it's going to stay. With Alicia Purdy for mayor and Operation Transform, we turn the city around. The most transformative thing you can do is freaking vote. Next, you hear my passion? This is Albany. I'm ashamed of the city of Albany, not as a city. I'm ashamed of its leadership and what a bunch of people who aren't even from the state of New York have done to this beautiful city. Do you know Kathy's from Chicago? Do you know she went to college in Ohio? Did you know that she's been all around the country doing all kinds of things with the Conference of Mayors, but what she's not doing is honoring the people of Albany because she doesn't know us. She's not from here. Second of all, on judging our neighbors and loved ones who identify as LGBTQ, what does Alicia Purdy have to say? Is she a hater of the gay and trans community? Well, this picture right here of me in front of the pride flag seems to conflict with the accusation that I am anti-LGBTQ. First of all, I'm not anti-anything. That's the first thing. Here's the quote they put here. Quote. This is a quote from me, and I'm addressing it because I'm being transparent with you. Quote. Well, it's not from me, but there are mental and emotional issues at work and spiritual ones as the enemy has deceived people to lure them away. There's the quote right there on that mailer. This is what Alicia Purdy has to say on judging our neighbors and loved ones who identify as LGBTQ. Okay, let's get transparent. They took that, they have a little citation down here. They know I'm a journalist, and I would do my digging. Here's the truth. Let's be transparent, okay? First of all, I want to apologize if any Christian has been disgusting to you and hurt you if you're LGBTQ, because we all hate that somebody a bad representation of who we are gives us a bad name, right? Okay, so I feel that way. But anyway, here's what I want to say about this. This was taken from an article that was written years ago, was assigned to me for a company I worked for called crosswalk.com. And when you're a writer, it doesn't really matter what you submit. You're at the mercy of your editor. And so what happens is they edit. Once you sell an article, that's what I did for years. I was a ghostwriter and a contributing writer. What happens is you turn it in, they purchase that article, and they own that article. They can do anything what they want with it after that. You don't own the rights. You sign the rights away. So they assigned me an article to write about LGBTQ issues from an evangelical Christian perspective. As a hired writer, that's what I did. So now here comes this line. Here's what they didn't tell you about this article. First of all, I quit working for that company. I was uncomfortable with the direction that it was taking and the articles I was being assigned to write and the product of what I was submitting to them. I don't work for that company anymore, and I have not worked for that company. And I parted ways with that company over my discomfort with the direction that company was going and the things that they were putting out there. I thought some of it was wacky. I thought some of it was offensive and hurtful. I thought some of it was way out of line with what I believe as a Christian. So there you go. What they didn't tell you is that. So they took some old article. I can't even ascribe to whether or not that's the line I submitted in that article. So there you go. Whatever. It's out there. Everything on the internet lives forever. So there you go. Now, let me take a minute to say this. It has come up. I have had supporters in the LGBTQ community ask me that very important question, and you should know the answer. Do I affirm the lives of LGBTQ and trans people? I affirm every life. Your inherent worthiness as a human being, no matter what you do with your life, doesn't change. Even if you're an awful person and you're a I don't know what, the worst thing I can think of, you're a pedophile. Okay? You harm children. Here's the fact. I still don't want to see you dead. You still have constitutional rights. At the end of the day, I believe that every human life, including the unborn, that's on here too, including the unborn, has the right to live and to be protected and has a constitutional right to life, to liberty, and to the pursuit of happiness. And I will defend that right. That's my job as a mayor. So you could take that and stick it where the sun don't shine. Kathy Sheehan. Next, on a woman's right to choose. What does Alicia Purdy have to say on a woman's right to choose? Quote, abortion is the most heinous action ever perpetuated upon mankind. That was taken from a line in an article called 5 Reasons Why a Christian Would Have an Abortion. Now, I wrote that article myself, and I did say that line. That has actually zero to do with running for mayor. There's nothing regarding pro-choice, pro-life, nothing that a mayor of Albany can do. Zero. So they put that in there. You have to understand, this picture of Donald Trump on the back is very specific marketing and branding. You have to understand how dirty politics is played, because I do. That's why I'm calling this out. That's why I'm being transparent with you about this piece of mail. Out of all the crap that Kathy Sheehan has blitzed my house with, this really pissed me off because it was really intentional slam about things that don't actually matter. It's a decoy move. It's a bait and switch to things that matter about running in the city of Albany as mayor. So don't be deceived by that. But I want to say this. I stand behind the fact that I believe in the inherent value of all things. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't think anyone should be killed against their will, including the unborn, a biologically distinct human being. I don't. And I'll own that. But it has nothing to do with running for mayor. But you know what? They put that there and they put it there just as some dirt to drag you off into the weeds so that you vote for another garbage mayor who turned Albany into, what Alicia said, an economic shantytown of crime and crack. Still stand by it. That's why I'm running for mayor. Okay, last thing I'm going to say this. Down here, on COVID-19 vaccines, Alicia compared showing vaccination cards to living under medical authoritarianism. That's what that is. That is the essence of medical authoritarianism. Thank you, Kathy Sheehan, for the awesome PR. Thank you for putting a picture of me in front of the pride flag where I proudly stood. And also, thank you for letting everybody know that I completely stand against whether or not you want to get vaccinations. Go with God, have at it. But I will defend your right to not turn over your private medical information to your government leaders in order to go pick up a soda pop at McDonald's. Yes, I stand by that. That is accurate. I've been very public. I asked Kathy Sheehan at the forum we just did, will you demand a vaccine passport in the city of Albany? She dodged that question hard, and I'm going to expose it, not only as a journalist, but as a leader. I'm going to tell you right now, the secret messaging here about what Alicia Purdy said, what that is, the flip side of that is what Kathy Sheehan is saying. Albany, you're getting a vaccine passport. I live here and I don't want one. It doesn't matter. You don't get to know anything about my medical history. And by the way, I'm not anti-vax. Vaccinations are already the law of the land. My children attend Albany public schools. We're all shot up over here. But you know what? I absolutely stand against the governing medical authoritarianism, exactly like that's literally the one thing that she got right. We're going to stand against that in the city of Albany. We are not going to have a class or caste system in Albany of the vax and the unvaxxed. You know what? We didn't have, back in the AIDS epidemic, we weren't making people show their AIDS passports. We weren't singling out the gay community and demanding that they show medical proof of who they're sleeping with and what people, we don't do that with people who are injecting drugs into their body. We're not doing it with people who are getting vaccinations in Albany. But the message here is that if Kathy Sheehan is elected, you will be showing a passport to get groceries at the store, to go to the gym. You will not be able to go anywhere in the city of Albany. They already have it in New York City. Mayor Bloomberg just today endorsed Kathy Sheehan. One of the biggest fails in the state of New York just endorsed Kathy Sheehan. I think that says everything you need to know about what's coming the next 4 years. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Why do you want a devil as the mayor? You could actually have a human being who cares about people. So anyway, this is a big deal. This Donald Trump picture is phony. This is phony marketing to try to slam my candidacy. Don't buy the lie, Albany. Anyway, I'm not going to talk much longer on it. The last thing I want to say is this. At the very bottom, by the way, it says some horrible things about Greg Yadala, too, who's a pretty stand-up guy. It says here, hate and ignorance have no place in Albany. Well, on that, we agree. Hate and ignorance have no place in Albany, which is why I got online today to make us think about this stupid, ugly, hideous mailer. But I am really grateful to Kathy Sheehan for one thing. She actually said, you just have to know how to translate Sheehanism, because I do. I'm proud of this picture. That's what I'm going to say. I'm very proud of this picture. I would do it again. I stand by the things that I said. I hope that you understand a little bit of the truth here. The last thing I want to say, out of all these mailers, look at all these mailers I got. Did you guys get all these mailers? Look at all these. Look at my house. Look at all these mailers. I've got 65 mailers at my house. I can't even see anything. Par for the course. Last thing I'm going to say is this. We did get this from the Albany police, from the PBA. It says vote no on proposal 7. That is accurate. Vote no across the board for the propositions. Every single one of them is decoy language. They're across the board. Government overreach, which we do not want. I am standing against the tide in Albany on behalf of the people of Albany, because 4 more years of this, we cannot tolerate. Our tax burden can't take it. People are voting with their feet and moving out of this amazing city. And you know what? The shantytown, economic shantytown of crime and crack, that's on you, Kathy Sheehan. With Alicia Purdy, we have Operation Transform. Oh, PBA is letting us know 15-year-old girl shot dead near the governor's mansion. Do you guys remember that? It's all true. 7-year-old shot in Albany's South End. We just had somebody drive through a building. We had a foot chase with a gunman just a few nights ago. We had a helicopter chasing people down the street. This is like the alternative timeline of 1985 and Back to the Future. Does anybody remember that? The city of Albany has become a dumpster fire under Kathy Sheehan's watch. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to put that fire out. We're going to restore law and order in the city of Albany. I'm just on here to tell you this. Don't buy the lie. Here's the truth. Elections do have consequences. If you're done with the city of Albany's direction of failure that it has been in for the last 2 terms, elections do have consequences. You have got to vote Alicia Purdy for mayor. The most transformative thing you can do in this election is transform the way that you think about what a leader should be and what a leader should do. I don't see myself as the Queen of Albany. I see myself as the servant of the people. And that's what government should be. So when you see this ridiculous attempt at a hit piece on Alicia Purdy, you have the full and transparent truth. I just gave it to you all. I stand behind every word I said in this video. This is a bait and switch on the people of Albany. Don't buy the lie. You should tap and share this video because everybody is talking about these cards and somebody has to, I want you to hear it right out of my mouth. Transparency, answering tough questions, accountability, and the truth. That's what you get from Alicia Purdy for Mayor People Focused Leadership. Bye-bye, everybody.